Hey guys, this is John from Geared Up Gaming, and today I'm going to show you a different game. It's called Toy Soldiers, which you can get on the Xbox Live Arcade for about $15. I highly recommend it just because it's a World War I game, and you don't see many of those nowadays. It's mostly either Modern Warfare or World War II. And what I'm going to show you is how to get the general rank on this level called Polygon Wood, which is the second last level in the game and is ranked one of the harder ones. So I'm going to show you my strategy. So for this first wave, what you want to do is take this tank and sort of back yourself up to this area and just begin shooting the hill, because they've already sent a wave of infantry at you, and as you saw, you start off with no money. Usually with the levels, you start off with a certain amount of cash to set up your defenses. Well, I picked this level just because that's the gimmick to it. You don't start with any money at all. So you're going to have to kill all these soldiers to gain money to set up some defenses. And I like it because you have to do some of the killing instead of letting your soldiers do it for you. So, right now, all you do is just shoot at the soldiers. If any try to get past you, you can just use the left bumper to use your gas, because this tank uses gas while the other set of tanks use flamethrowers. So what I'm doing is not worrying about the toy box that's right behind me, because that's what your base is called, a toy box. And there's two on this level, so it's a bit difficult. But yes, don't worry about the one behind you. The reason why is because you're already protecting it. There's no other way for them to get around you. But up there's a bridge. And later on, they're going to send the hardest waves at that bridge. And you want to have your howitzer out. And you want to make sure you upgrade that howitzer as quickly as possible. Because even though a wave hasn't started yet, you can still shoot at like infantry getting ready, because as you see, it says readying up there. They'll be getting into formation, which the howitzer can actually shoot. So I'm just getting some money right here, just shooting soldiers. Not much else to say, but my howitzer up there is giving me money as well. So as you see, I set up a mortar. That's in case any soldiers get close, because howitzers are long-range weapons. You can't use them at close range, or else that just won't work. They don't have that capability. So the mortars, they can get as close range as possible. It takes a bit of time for it to shoot up and land, but it does a high level of impact depending on which level it is. And another reason I use the mortar is to hit this little enemy placement there. And what I'm going to do with that, what am I doing here? Oh, yeah, I'm upgrading to level 3 for the mortar. This would be used against the cavalry later on. So, in that little enemy area, I placed a machine gun nest, which I'm upgrading to the 2nd level. I don't think I upgraded it to the 3rd level, because the 2nd level is definitely the better one. The 3rd level, each of these weapons in the game goes by levels, so 1st, 2nd, 3rd. The 3rd level is usually the strongest, but with machine guns, it shoots explosive bullets, but they shoot in very, like, almost cannon bursts, and I want something that is going to shoot really, really fast, so I choose the 2nd level. So what my howitzer is doing right now is killing those guys readying up, and I'm just trying to figure out how I'm going to hit that little mortar area over there. So I'm going to try with this level 3 mortar, which can actually shoot 3 at a time, which is pretty useful, but the range is just not far enough. So I'm going to keep trying, but again, it's not going to work. So I have to try a different strategy. So what I'm going to try to do is use the howitzer, at least from what I remember. Because this is all post-commentary, because I just wanted to focus on this when I was recording. So let's see, I'm just going around the map right now, taking the tank. I think I'm taking the tank right now to, because there's another wave of soldiers coming. remember my exact strategy. They should be coming over the bridge right now. Oh, I remember where I'm going. There is a mortar nest, a level 3 mortar nest, on the other side of this area. And since tanks go really slow, and one of the title cards it says it only goes 4 miles per hour, so this is going to take a while. So that's why I'm doing it on a wave I don't really have to do anything on, because my howitzer is taking out the enemies. So I'm going around destroying things because every little thing you destroy, it gives you money. And any bit helps. So going around here, trying to get as much money as possible because I have to build up machine gun nests for the cavalry charge, because in my opinion that's the hardest part of this level, because even though cavalry wasn't useful in World War I because they got mowed down by machine guns so easily, in this game they can take a lot of bullets for some weird reason, and they go really fast. And to get general rank, you can't let anyone get into your toy box. As you see up in the top left corner, I can allow 15 in, but again, for the highest rank, you can't let anyone in. So here I'm shooting the level 3 mortar, but I'm making sure to keep moving so their mortar shells can't hit me. So there, I destroyed it. And I think I tried to go for another one, but my howitzer actually got it when I wasn't looking. Usually if there's another mortar there, you can back up into this area. Yeah. And where I was just aiming there, there's usually a mortar. So now I want to set up a machine gun nest. Definitely upgrade them to 2. Don't upgrade them to 3 unless you're feeling really risky. Plus also, plant mortars over in this area. There's a reason for that, is because with the cavalry, they can actually still get through those machine guns, and you want to have like a backup plan. You want those mortars to be able to hit the bridge in case the cavalry actually reach it. So now I'm just waiting for a wave that's going to come down that little area I'm aiming at right now. And planting more mortars. You're going to need all the mortars you can get for later on, because you're going to have to deal with tanks, and they can be a bit of a problem when they start branching off. But right now we're just dealing with infantry. Not much to say. Again, if they get close to you, you can either run them over, which can actually chain kills, which is helpful. I think it gives you more points. But you can also use your poison gas. Now, there's another vehicle you can use, which is a plane. We haven't seen it yet, but we will, because we're going to have to shoot down some planes when they come along. So now here comes the worst part, the cavalry charge. And you definitely have to use one of the gun nests to shoot them, because you can't really trust your computer players to actually help you. So just try to do as much as you can. Aim for the actual people on the horse, not the horse itself. Because the people on the horse, they take less bullets. The horse just soaks up all the damage. So I'm lucky they didn't get very far in this, but they can get really annoying. And it's good when the horse does its little, it goes up on its 2 back legs and does its, yeah, that thing. It's good because it stops the horse and it gives you a few extra hits on it. So there we go. That's the worst part of the level in my opinion. But there's other hard parts, depending on how much money you have. You don't want to waste it by planting machine gun nests everywhere, because you're not going to use machine guns much. I don't think I really even need them after this point. You just want the explosive rounds. So now we're going to have to deal with tanks. For the most part, you can take out all the tanks with your own little tank here and your howitzer. Always make sure your howitzer is at level 3. I always kept it at level 2 before the cavalry charge because it can shoot faster rounds. At level 3 it takes a lot longer to reload, but it gives you a bigger impact. So Taking my little 4 mile per hour tank around here. God, this takes forever. But again, this game is really good. It feels like an actual big budget game, even though it's just an indie game. I really recommend it to anyone. It has online multiplayer too. It's competitive. I think you can do co-op in split screen. Don't quote me on that. But we should see the tanks around this corner. They're not shaped like normal tanks. They're shaped like boxes. Because they really didn't know how to design tanks back then. So there we go. They deal a lot of damage, but usually your howitzer can help you. So you don't have to deal with as many. But if they blow up your tank, it's a very short respawn time. Due to the fact that the game wants you to use it as much as possible. So there we go, I upgraded my howitzer. And you're always going to see a timer when I get out of these tanks. Well, that's their respawn timer. Like, the timer before they're actually going to explode and respawn back at their original location. Sometimes that can help you, depending on where your tank is. If it's stuck in, like, a little nook and cranny somewhere. So now we have to deal with planes, and I'm just waiting to get some money to actually deal with them. So I have to wait for the tanks to come around the corner. Now I think these are the, yeah, these are the separate tanks. These are the ones that can use flamethrowers. And they're the ones that were generally used in World War I, first at the Battle of the Somme in 1916. So here we go. Definitely upgrade to level 2 as fast as possible. You want level 3, but level 2 can still take out most of the planes. Because they can also fly into your toy box, which doesn't really make sense, but hey. So they can also bomb your weapons, which is not helpful, but you can repair them at a cost. Usually it's like $300. It can be a bit annoying. Now, the dogfighting is extremely smooth in this game. As you can see, it looks really fun, and you have, in this plane, you have 5 bombs you can use. In later levels, or I'm not sure in this level if they have any, but you can get bombers, which you have a certain number of bombs, but they reload over time. In this, if you use up your bombs, well, that's it. You just have to crash and make a new plane respawn. So here's some more tanks coming around. So here I have to level up to level 3, but now I don't have to worry about planes anymore because the flak cannon will take out any planes. No matter where they are, it'll take them out. Here we go. I'm just staying up on this hill so they can't shoot at me. It's the best strategy. High ground's always the best. And if you have any extra money, start making more mortar areas because the other tanks are going to be rolling out soon, and they take a shortcut to try and throw you off instead of taking that really long route. And another point is when you start this level, don't plant anything back there. Always just defend it with your tank. You don't want to waste any money at the beginning because you're really low on money. And with that cavalry charge, if you don't have enough weapons there, they're going to go right through it. And it's just going to frustrate you. This is definitely the best method I found. It's not going to work on every level, of course, because there's no boss on this level. I might upload other videos with boss vehicles. They're really weird. But one of them, I know the SAR tank was actually used. Well, not really used, but it was actually made in World War I, and it's really weird and big. So here we go. Here's another infantry charge. There's really nothing to say about it, except they're going to try to take a different route. They're going to try to come up this hill area, but my mortars will definitely take care of them. Not much else to say until the tanks, these weird tanks start rolling out where they're not technically tanks, they're people walking inside these little metal things. We'll see them when we get to there. But what I'm doing now is rotating the camera with the tank to make sure none of these soldiers get in, because they can sneak past the mortar shells. Like, it's hard to take out all the soldiers because they're so small. If you're far away, you won't really see them. So it's definitely best to get as close as possible to them. So here we are, just annihilating them. And on the easier difficulties, it gives you a lot more leniency. I'm not sure if there's leniency on rank, like if you can still get general if you let 1 or 2 in, but on casual, if you play, it's not a 15 vehicle or person limit getting into your toy box, it's actually 30, and that's actually really generous. And normal's probably 20. But there is a harder difficulty. It's called Elite. And what Elite is that when you plant something, it's not in use unless you use it. So your computers aren't there at all. You have to do it yourself. And so far I've only been able to beat 1 level with that, and it's just insane. I don't even know if it's possible to get general on all the levels with that. Especially on the last level, I can't even beat it on hard. So they really went all out with that difficulty. So again, I have to take the long route around because they can take the short route, but I have to take the long route. I guess that just adds to the challenge. Now, I haven't planted anything there in that little area because you really don't need to. There's nothing special about it. It's only there for the earlier times when there's infantry running down the road, but by this point you don't even need it. And as you noticed with the little areas where you can put your guns, the bigger the area, the bigger the weapon you can put in. Big weapons can't go in small areas, which is there's only 2 big areas in this level, so you have to use them sparingly. So you only get 1 howitzer and 1 anti-aircraft. What wave is it? I think this might be the small tank wave. That might be what I'm waiting for right now. But yeah, they're really weird. Yeah, there they are. You really can't see them from here, but they're people just kind of wheeling themselves up with cannons on the front. They can do damage to you, but you can kill them in basically 1 hit with your cannon, so they're really no threat. They're probably the easiest enemies other than normal soldiers, just because, again, they only take 1 hit and they're extremely slow. So the tanks, depending on which tanks we have to deal with, they take varying hit points. So depending on which tanks you have, you definitely want to use your howitzer, because the howitzer will help you take down those hit points as quickly as possible. So there's an infantry charge. Again, we don't have to worry about that. Our mortars will take that out, but I just put up an extra mortar here in case. Oh, I don't have enough money right now. So, again, by this point, infantry is like nothing. They just get eliminated by the mortars. You can also use the Devil's Rope, or Devil's Wire, which is just barbed wire, and enemies have to crawl under it, and it hurts them while doing that. That can be helpful to slow the enemy down, but it won't necessarily kill them. It's useful on the harder levels, like with lots of infantry, but when vehicles come along, they'll just crash right through it. So on a level like this, there's really no point, especially at this point when you're blowing everything up anyway. because if a mortar hits your devil's wire or barbed wire, it'll just blow it up. So, I think we have more tanks coming out. Don't know the exact name of these tanks, but they were only used by the Germans. The British used these really weird rhombus-shaped tanks. So yeah, right now I'm just going around the map just to see what I have currently. You want to definitely have your mortars up on the hill, because the tanks really can't hit it up there, but if they're on the ground, they can hit it a lot easier, and usually they'll just blow it up. Now, you really don't see it, but in this video, but if there's an enemy position still there, like say a mortar position, those mortars can actually hit your other guns, even your howitzer, and blow that up. So it's best to get rid of them yourself, unless you have a bunch of mortars to counter that mortar. I've never said mortar so much in my life. So again, I'm going around to, God, I wish this was faster. I wish I could just speed this up. Going around to take out more tanks. We should be nearing the end now. There's 26 waves from what I remember. Again, as the game goes on, more waves come along. But really, it doesn't even feel like a long video. Well, when you're playing the game, it doesn't feel like a long time, but that's what's good about the game. It doesn't feel like a chore when you're playing it. It feels like the experience just was really quick and you want to keep going. I don't know if you feel the same. That's why I recommend downloading it. So, here we are. Yeah, these are the box tanks used by the Germans. They're pretty easy to take out. The rhombus tanks are more heavily armored. And again, my howitzer is helping me out. Make sure, if you're going to use this method, make sure your howitzer is positioned carefully, because you can change which way they're facing. Make sure they're facing always to, can't tell which direction. Say I'm facing northeast right now. Make sure it's always facing that way I'm facing right now, because that's where a majority of your enemies are going to come from, especially at this stage. With all the vehicles, they'll always come from the same areas. What wave is it now? Yeah, it's tanks again. These ones are different. These ones will try to run over your weapons. I don't even know what they're called. But they can do it, but they don't get... With all these mortars, they don't even get close. Now, we have a wave of special flying enemies. I don't show them in this just because my flak cannon will take them out easily, but usually you'll have to go up in the air and take them out yourself, because some of these levels are really big and the flak doesn't reach that far. You definitely experience that in the Zeppelin level, because there's, I think, 2 levels where you have to face a Zeppelin and your flak just can't reach it. That's one of those times where you'll have to use a level 2 artillery instead. So as you saw, those were the other tanks, the third kind of tank that will run over your positions. They're pretty heavily armored, but with your level 3 howitzer, it will just go right through. Plus your level 3 mortars. Even on hard, your AI players, they will definitely hit your targets. It's good. I'm glad they didn't resort to, on the higher difficulties, they make your AI more idiotic. It just makes the game that much better. But on Elite, I could see this being a huge problem. I don't even know how this is possible. Like, just controlling this all yourself. So here we go. I don't know why the last charge is this, but it's an infantry charge and they just get completely annihilated. I think I go up close and personal to see it. But here we go. These are the last couple of tanks. getting completely destroyed. And that's the last one, I think. So right now I'm trying to search where, well, first I'm planning as much more mortars as I could with all the money I had left. But now I'm trying to look where the enemies are going to come from, because I know they're just going to get wiped out. And I want to show you what they look like. And, oh, there they are. And you see, they're readying right now, but my cannons can still shoot at them, and they just go sky high. And they're still waiting there. Some of them are just looking up at their little buddies just falling from the sky. Oh. I always get a laugh at this. It's funny. And look at their charge. There are only a couple guys. Oh. This game is just incredible. And you see, they didn't even have a chance. There's only 2 of them left, and they barely... Oh, look at that one go. They barely got anywhere. So here we go. Got a victory. Do my little victory dance there. And we get general rank. Now, I had a lot of money left over. It shows you later on, like, you don't even need that much money, but at the beginning you really did. And there's some of my stats. The highest flying soldier was 669 feet in the air. That was probably right at the end, too, when they were just getting massacred. Thank you guys for watching, and look out for more uploads of this, maybe in the future.